from the National News Studio, Sri Lanka.
Pleasant day and a warm welcome to the news live on Rupavahini ChannelEye. We are ready to bring you the top stories here at home and around the world. I am Charita Viniparachi.
And I am Kasani Balachandra. Here are your top stories for tonight.
Main suspect of Delft murder was arrested. A complaint lodged over an alleged handing over of goods to a vehicle carrying inmates. President emphasizes to make Sri Lanka an air and sea hub in the Asian region. The Transport Minister says the Railway Department should be changed as an authority. US diplomats in Sudan were evacuated.
We move on to those and other stories in detail now. In your top local story tonight, police media spokesman SSP Nihal Taldua said that a suspect has been arrested with regards to the killing of 5 members in the same family in the Delft island.
Police conducts further investigations. Delft police has started investigations regarding the killing. Accordingly, the police focused attention on the passengers who travel from the Delft island to Kites by boats. Accordingly, the suspect has been taken into custody last night at a house in Punkudutev Island. Police media spokesman further said that the suspect has been identified as a 51-year-old dual citizen who arrived in Sri Lanka from Germany in 2019. Some jewellery, 2 mobile phones and a travelling bag with saris have also been taken into police custody. These items are alleged to be robbed from that house. 5 members of the same family lived near Delft's jetty have been hacked to death recently. A woman with serious injuries was admitted to the Jaffna Teaching Hospital. A person was stabbed to death this morning at the Quarry Road area in Mirihana. Another person was admitted to the Colombo National Hospital with injuries. The victim was a 34-year-old resident of Mirihana area. The suspect, who is responsible for the killing, has fled the area. Police have revealed that an altercation between the 2 factions has led to the incident.
A complaint has been lodged at the Prison Intelligence Unit over an alleged handing over of goods to a vehicle carrying inmates to the prison back from the courts. These inmates are juveniles who have been charged on a murder. The relations of the murdered have lodged the complaint. A person was killed on the 14th of February this year at the Galmata Junction in Mathugama after being assaulted by a helmet. The Valipanna police arrested 3 underage students with regards to this murder. The students had been detained at the Child Detention Centre in Markola. The 3 students had been taken to the courts at Mathugama by a van on the 18th of this month. A group of family members of the suspects have handed over some goods to the prison van by a lane in Mathugama. The incident has been recorded by a mobile phone by the family members of the victim. They hope to inform the courts regarding this incident at the next day of the trial. President Ranil Wickremesinghe emphasizes that the government's intention is to make Sri Lanka an air and sea hub in the Asian region.
He said that the necessary plans have been incorporated into the government's 25-year-old development plan. President made these remarks while addressing the 30-year development plan of the Colombo North Point workshop in Colombo recently. According to the main development of the Sri Lankan Ports Authority, both Eastern Terminal and Western Terminal development projects have been implemented. These projects are expected to be completed by 2030.
This ministry is now called the Ministry of Shipping and Aviation. Our intention is to make Sri Lanka an air sea hub. Sri Lanka has to think of the future. What we will do in the next 25 years. How are we going ahead to make this a developed country? We have to look at the developments in India, in Bangladesh, in Iran, the total Makaran coast. in assessing the role that Sri Lanka has to play as a hub. That is important. We have to think now of what the development should be. The SLPA and the consultants have given us a report on the feasibility of the North Port. We have to remember one thing only, that what is going to take place in India, what's the development in Pakistan, and what's the development going to be in Iran. Those three will decide the capacity. By 2050, India will be the most populous country in the world. From 1.4 billion, it will be up to 1.7 billion people. The industrialization of India is going fast, especially in some areas. You find Gujarat, Maharashtra, and other one, the southern India, especially in Tamil Nadu.
The signing of the agreement to establish the South Asia's largest commercial and logistics center in the port of Colombo was held recently. The event was held at the Ministry of Ports and Shipping and Aviation. This agreement was signed under the chairmanship of Minister Nimal Siripala de Silva. The 92-meter-high building with 8 floors is equipped with modern technology and facilities. The storage capacity is 530,000 cubic meters. This project will enable the transportation of goods, including containers, between Kattunaik Airport and the Colombo port swiftly. The ministry emphasized that the construction work of this commercial and supply center will cost about $400 million and will be implemented as a public-private partnership project. Sri Lanka Ports Authority will own the right of this commercial and supply centre.
Because the Sri Lanka is undergoing a very difficult period at the moment, and my President, Mr. Ranil Wickremesinghe, is trying his best together with us to revamp the economy and attract as much as foreign investment possible. So it's not easy to do that. But we are thankful to China Merchant Group for having confidence in Sri Lanka and the Port Authority and taking part in this project and decided to invest US $400 million, which is a very sizable amount of investment. I think this is the highest investment which has come during this period. So the port of Colombo is a very important port, and we are developing this port to a great extent, and this was one of the setbacks. We didn't have a proper logistics center in the port of Colombo. So now with the establishment of this logistics center, we become a very prestigious port as well as a very competitive port in the Southeast Asian region. And our ranking in the international arena also will go up.
The government has decided to provide financial assistance to pay 550,000 paddy farmers to purchase fertilizer at the upcoming gala season. A sum of 11 billion rupees has been set aside for this purpose. The subsidies to be given to farmers to minimize their production cost. Accordingly, a sum of 20,000 rupees will be provided with farmers per hectare of paddy cultivation. The TSP fertilizer or mud fertilizer for yellow season has already been distributed among the farmers free of charge. A 50 kilogram pack of urea is sold at 10,000 rupees of concessionary price. A bag of Bandi fertilizer is sold with a discount of 4,500 rupees. The Ministry of Agriculture has focused attention to directly credit this money to the accounts of the farmers. The ministry expects that the farmers only use these funds to purchase fertilizer. The European Union and the UN Food and Agriculture Organization has extended their support to implement a consolidated management program on tree nutrients. A program of manufacturing seed paddy will also be implemented to provide high-quality seed paddy to farmers. The EU has expressed their willingness to support these programs at a ceremony held at the Agricultural Park in Bharatha area. At this program, farmers were educated on how to conduct paddy cultivation under pasturage system in order to get a bountiful harvest. A program is underway in the Yala season to provide 50 kilogram pack of urea per each family for 71,000 farming families. The relevant stock of urea was officially handed over to the Ministry of Agriculture yesterday. EU Ambassador for Sri Lanka and Maldives Dennis Chabi handed over the stock of fertilizer amounting to 1.5 billion rupees. The ceremony was held under the patronage of Minister Mahinda Amaravira.
Minister Bandula Gunawardena says that the railway department should be changed into an authority to evade limitations towards development. The minister made this comment participating in the opening of several development projects in the Alla railway station yesterday. New cloakroom and a parcel counter were opened for the convenience of visitors at the Alla railway station. Local and foreign tourists are able to place their valuables and other goods with the security at these counters. Minister Bandula Gunawardena said that the department administrative system should be changed so as to facilitate commercial activities. Therefore, the railway department should be transformed into an authority. Then the railway service can be developed in collaboration with the private sector and foreign partners. In this manner, the railway service can be developed within a short period of 2 years. The minister further said that all the railway stations throughout the island will be developed as the Alla railway station in future.
The Consumer Affairs Authority recently announced a certified price of 44 rupees for white eggs and 46 rupees for a brown egg. Accordingly, a trader in Bandaravilla area sells a white egg at 44 rupees of maximum retail price. He is R.M. Radhish Kumar, who buys egg stocks from Kuliapiti area and sell them at a retail price of 44 rupees in Bandaravilla area. It is commendable of such traders who carry out reasonable business. Vasatsuriya 2023 Sinhala and Tamil New Year Festival was held yesterday at the Shangri-La Green premises in Colombo in a grand manner with the participation of President Ranil Wickremesinghe.
The festival consisted of many New Year festivities and games, including the Vasatsuriya 2023 Avrudha Kumara Kumariya contest. Valuable prizes and certificates were presented for the winners. Organized under 3 categories, namely State, Open and Guest, Vasatsuriya 2023 consists of many competitive events with many features reflecting local cultural values. A large number of people from ministries and government institutions and their friends and families island-wide participated in the event. Diplomats, their family members and the staff were also present. A special feature was that many competitions were organized for foreign tourists visiting the country. The Vasatsuriya 2023 musical concert commenced at 7 p.m. at the venue with one of the country's popular music groups. The New Year celebration was organized by the Welfare Society of the Presidential Secretariat under the instructions of President Ranil Wickremesinghe by involving the ministries, government institutions and the private sector. Nuwareliya's Salalihini Vasantha, which commenced from the 1st of this month, will be conducted for several more days.
The national television is the media sponsor for the Nuwareliya Salalihini Vasantha program.
Sri Lanka Insurance සමගින් සුන්දර නුවරඑළිය සැලලිහිණි වසන්තය 2023.
Summer season All-Island Open Badminton Championship is currently underway in Nuwareliya. This tournament is organized by Sri Lanka Badminton Association and the Central Province Badminton Association. 984 participants are taking part in the tournament. This tournament started yesterday and will continue until the 30th of this month. The tournament is comprised of 70 competitive events. This is considered as the largest badminton tournament in Sri Lanka. The players will be able to gain an international level experience during this event. All are invited to visit Nuwareliya to witness such competitive events and enjoy the activities organized for the visitors at Sundara Nuwareliya Salalihini Vasantha.
Sri Lanka Insurance සමගින් සුන්දර නුවරඑළිය සැලලිහිණි වසන්තය 2023.
The 30th death anniversary of late former Minister Lalitha Mudali falls today. He is the pioneer who brought the concept of Mahapolis scholarship. He also initiated the Colombo Harbour Development Project. He was assassinated on the 23rd of April 1993. Lalitha Mudali was born on the 26th of November 1936. He started his career as a barrister at the Oxford University in England. He entered politics and was elected to the parliament representing the UNP in 1977 from the Ratmalani electorate. He held several important ministerial portfolios such as education, trade, national defence and agriculture under the J.R. Jayawardena and R. Premadasa regimes.
අධිෂ්ඨානය ශක්තිමත් කරන්න. මම ඒ අධිෂ්ඨානය කරගෙන තිබෙනවා.
Floral tributes were made at the Atharat Mudali statue located near the Colombo Royal College this morning. Joining at this event, former Minister Ravi Karnanayaka said that the modernization program initiated by Minister Atharat Mudali should be carried forward to develop the country.
Two photographs of Sri Lankan origin were unveiled at the office of the Indian State Minister of External Affairs and Culture at the National Gallery of Modern Art in New Delhi yesterday. The photographs were unveiled marking the 75th anniversary of the establishment of India-Lanka diplomatic relations, which falls this year. The photographs installed at the office of the Indian State Minister of External Affairs and Culture, Meenakshi Lilaka, feature two murals painted by the eminent Sri Lankan painter Solis Mendis in the Kalani Raja Mahavihara. The first mural depicts the Arahat Mahinda delivering the message of the Buddha to King Devanampethi upon arriving in Sri Lanka. The second mural depicts the arrival of the Sri Lanka of the Asankametta bearing the right-hand branch sapling of the Sri Mahabodhi tree. These two historical events mark the commencement of a Buddhist civilization in Sri Lanka and epitomize the strong and unbreakable bonds that exist between Sri Lanka and India. The photographs were ceremonially unveiled by the Indian State Minister Meenakshi Lilaka and Sri Lankan High Commissioner to India Milinda Borogoda. Most Venerable Vaskaduwe Mahinda Vansha Mahanayaka Thera was also present at this occasion.
Sri Lanka's High Commissioner to India, Milinda Borogoda, met with the Indian Minister of Commerce and Industry, Piyush Goyal, recently. The meeting was held at the Ministry of Commerce and Industry in New Delhi to follow up on the key areas that were discussed during their last meeting in February. The key areas discussed in February included mechanisms relating to the expansion of bilateral trade, the ways to establish and promote rupee trade between Sri Lanka and India as a means of economic recovery in Sri Lanka, and the possibility of further bilateral integration in the textile and garment sector. At the meeting, the progress made so far in these key areas were reviewed by the Indian Commerce Minister and the Sri Lankan High Commissioner. Special attention was given to the area of trade expansion as a means of economic recovery for Sri Lanka, and the way forward in this regard was discussed in detail. High Commissioner Borogoda reiterated the key route that India, with its projected growth rate of 6.7% for 2024, could play in Sri Lanka's economic recovery.
Ambassador E. Rodney M. Pereira called the governor of the prefecture of Okinawa in Naha, Denny Tamaki, recently. The meeting was held to establish fruitful links of the cooperation between Sri Lanka and Okinawa. Governor Tamaki highlighted the establishment of a new department focusing on regional foreign affairs in order to strengthen the ties with the countries such as Sri Lanka. He pointed out the easy access for jobs in Okinawa prefecture for foreign nationals, and he expects an increase in job opportunities for Sri Lankans. During the discussion, Ambassador Pereira emphasized the importance of bilateral linkages in various areas such as environment, agriculture, education and trade. Pointing out that Sri Lanka has a trainable young workforce, Ambassador Pereira suggested developing a pilot program that provides specific training for tourism and agriculture, among other sectors in Okinawa. Governor Tamaki expressed his gratitude to the ambassador for the visit and said that the discussion provides an ideal opportunity to enhance ties between Okinawa and Sri Lanka.
A community service program which was held in Jaffna for the last 3 days under the patronage of Venerable Samanta Bhadrathera. A set of books, school for school books for children, pairs of spectacles and distribution of coconut and jackfruit saplings were conducted at this function. The new temple constructed in Jaffna town by Swami Vipulananda for God Shiva was also declared open for the devotees by Venerable Samanta Bhadrathera. Minister Douglas Devananda was also present at this occasion. Later, educational items were distributed among school students at the Jaffna Youth Society. While educational items were distributed among school students at the Jaffna Youth Society, coconut and jackfruit saplings were distributed among people in the area under the sponsorship of Arun Siddharthan. Later, the Samanta Bhadrathera visited Delft Island and donated school equipment to the students in the island. The program was held at the Delft Divisional Secretariat office. Saplings were also distributed at the Nagaviharya temple in Jaffna. A ceremony was also held for the Jaffna hospital staff. School equipment were distributed among students at the Jaffna governor's office as well. Governor of the Northern Province, Jeevan Tyagaraja, was also present at the ceremony. Villagers of Atabawa in the Mahavali D zone are suffering from the threat of wild elephants.
They complain that the steps taken by the authorities to prevent wild elephants entering the village are unsuccessful. About 100 families live in this village. The villagers are unable to have their day-to-day affairs and wild elephants roam in the village. Wild elephants are constantly seen at the main access road to the village. Wild elephants have been restricted to small thicket erecting electric fence. The villagers point out that these elephants constantly encroach the village as there is no food for them in the wood. Students of the village are unable to go to school due to the threat of elephants. The villagers request the authorities to provide a suitable solution for this program immediately. Meanwhile, an elephant trapped in a muddy hole in Dibulagala area was rescued by the forest officials of the Pimburatwava beach and the villagers in Mugaldigamana area, which mark efforts. Wildlife veterinary unit of Giritale gave treatments to the elephant. Sudan update and more stories coming up in the foreign news.
Prima Kottumi, hot and spicy, Nava Vasarak Veva.
Welcome back, and in your foreign news tonight, President Joe Biden has said that the US military has evacuated American diplomats and their families from Khartoum. US officials said the operation was fast and clean. Fewer than 100 people were reportedly evacuated early today when 3 Chinook helicopters landed near the US embassy to collect them. The French Ministry of Foreign Affairs announced it was also beginning to evacuate its citizens and diplomatic staff from the country. However, both Sudan's regular army and its opponents, a paramilitary force called the Rapid Support Forces, have said that the evacuation convoy was fired at after leaving the French embassy and had to turn back. They blamed each other for the attack. One French national was reportedly injured, and French authorities have not yet commented. Fierce violence erupted last week in Khartoum between 2 opposing armies.
UK consumers are feeling the pinch of rising food prices and beverage items, plus instantly high inflation has dimmed outlooks on the country's economy. Data released last week by the UK authorities has indicated that the consumer price inflation in the region dropped to 10.1% in March, down from 10.4% in February, but well above norms. Prices of food and non-alcoholic drinks have increased 19.1% compared to last year, marking the biggest increase over 45 years. The hike was severely eaten into Brighton's spending power, whose wages are rising slower than inflation. Cash-strapped British consumers have been actively seeking discounts and cutting back on restaurant visits.
ක්‍රීමා කොත්තුමි hot and spicy නව වසරක් වේවා.
Welcome back, and it's cricket on your sports update. The second test match between Sri Lanka and Ireland will commence from tomorrow at the Galle International Cricket Stadium.
Sri Lankan players took part in the final training session this morning. The Sri Lanka cricket announced that the same team will be named for the second test. Sri Lanka recorded an innings and 280 runs victory at the first test. The 73rd big match between St Sebastian's College and Prince of Wales in Moratuwa ended in a draw yesterday. The match was played at the De Zoiza grounds in Moratuwa. St Sebastian team scored 219 runs in the first innings, Prince of Wales 208 runs in the first innings. St Sebastian team was at 207 runs for 2 wickets in the second innings at the end of the match. The 63rd Battle of the Mangosteen between Kalathara Vidyalaya and Tissa Central College ended in a draw, which was played in Sari grounds in Maggona. Kalathara Vidyalaya scored 241 runs in the first innings, Tissa Vidyalaya 233 runs in the first innings. The big match between Kurunegala Malayadeva Model School and Ibagamo Central College played in Velagadra Stadium ended in a draw. Batting first, Ibagamo Central scored 128 runs in the first innings. Malayadeva team scored 208 runs in the first innings. At the end of the play, Ibagamo Central were at 32 runs for the loss of 4 wickets.
Moving to the IPL update on our sports news, Gujarat Titans and Punjab Kings have won the IPL matches played yesterday, and Gujarat Titans have won over Lucknow.
hot and spicy නව වසරක් වේවා.
With the IPL update, we are going to conclude tonight's news. Just tomorrow at the very same time. I'm Charita, signing off with Kasani.